Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music, VIMTV. Guys, for tonight's episode, we are going to do Esben and the Witch, Violet Cries. Have you heard of Esben and the Witch? Because we haven't heard about him, and then we just kind of fell upon this album. We're like, well, we're going to review it because we needed an extra slot. And so here's a debut album from a brand new band that is kind of a weird sound. They're going for like this creep wave thing, this chilly...
Makes me think of Zerg in StarCraft.
Where they're trying to just like, literally I think they're trying to scare me when I listen to this music. I think that it's kind of comparable to the XX, Bat for Lashes, kind of some of the sounds there, and even as artsy as Frog Eyes gets sometimes. But Tom, what do you think this sounds like? I mean...
I think it sounds like disappointing music to me. I'll come out and say it. I was not a fan of this album. At first, I kind of dug the atmosphere and the sound they were going for, and after listen, the charm wore off, what charm there was. It got tedious. I just didn't get much out of it. I understand where people could, and I think these guys have a lot of talent, and I'm looking forward to what they do in the future. Right. But here, I just felt like they were trying so hard to scare me that it just didn't scare me.
Right.
And I love music that creeps me out, but I don't feel like this does this very authentically. I feel like it's a little forced, it's a little over-dramatic to really be real.
Right. The first thing that I noticed about this, and maybe you guys will pick up on this too if you check out Esben and the Witch, which by the way, you'll be able to stream this on our episode page at www.velocitiesmusic.com/Esben-and-the-witch. So click on that link and please check this album out if you haven't heard about these guys, because it's an interesting sound. It is original, but at the same time, I agree with Tom. I don't feel like the whole scaring you thing, the whole creepy mood, and trying to make things kind of sound like they're haunting you is really working out for me. It's just a little over the top and not quite as authentic as I'd like it to be.
It's just not grounded enough in solid songwriting.
So one of the first things that I saw in the vein that you're going here, Tom, is that I feel like the vocals were recorded in a separate setting than the instrumentals were written. And I feel like a lot of times the vocals sound off-key because of that. And it was done deliberately, and I'm not saying that like, obviously, like, it's wrong. I'm just saying I didn't like it because everything sounded like it was constantly not meshing together. It was just like, no. It just, sometimes it hurt my ears. And I'm pretty sensitive to that kind of stuff. I want things to sound good. I want things to mesh well. And there's other ways that you can scare me by just making things sound out of tune. And the other thing that really hit me, Tom, was production. I felt like the production was kind of off. There's just reverb on everything, and the levels of off are off as far as what parts you're hearing at what times. And I think that there are harmonies and hooks in there, and I'm sorry, melodies and hooks in there that I like, but they're just so buried that you have to dig for them, and it's all in this hope that they're going to just creep you out, and it's like they're just forcing this really off-putting sound onto you just to see what your reaction's going to be. I don't know. Didn't really work for me as much. I do appreciate some of the ideas present on the album, but I just felt like it got a little taxing as the album progressed, and they really didn't present any new ideas. So, anything you want to throw in there?
Not really. I think we pretty much summed it up already. I just, I want to say, though, while I didn't enjoy this album particularly, I know that there'll be a lot of people out there that do, and that's fine. That's great. Right. I'm glad that it worked for you. It didn't work for me. I wouldn't recommend this to my close friends or anyone over, like a lot of the music that's coming out. But at the same time, one thing that I want to emphasize that we've been talking a lot with people about lately is that it's always better to go find out for yourselves.
Right.
Take what we're saying as a starting point, maybe to get some ideas out there, but you don't have to accept everything that we say, and we don't want you to. We want you to get out there and figure it out for yourself. But still, just think about some of the things that we're mentioning. Maybe it'll give you something to note, to try to look out for when you're listening to this album. But really, when it comes down to opinion, figure it out for yourself.
Absolutely. And then come back and leave us a comment and let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
So what I'm sitting at on this album, Tom, I'm sitting at a 60, which is not a good score for all intents and purposes. I feel like there's a lot of things, a lot of issues on this album that bug me. The whole not meshing of the vocals and the rest of the songs and the production issues present that just drove me crazy, and the fact that I just felt like they didn't present enough ideas and enough unique attributes of this music. Now I think that some of the songwriting there is present, and they did some builds that were cool, and there's enough neat ideas and a neat original sound here to actually that I'll give these guys some props, but I would like to see that taken to a further step in the future. To me, that's an even 60.
I'm gonna go even 50.
Just didn't do it for you?
You know, I didn't hate listening to it, but I didn't particularly enjoy it, and just thinking about all the music that's coming out there, that's just, I feel like is so much better than this. I just feel like it doesn't quite live up to the standard.
So, score in the mid-50s from Velocities in Music. What do you guys think? If you've listened to Esben and the Witch, we want to hear your voice. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think, and tell us or advise us in your opinion how you think that we should listen to this in the future, or give us some background information. This didn't really cut it for us. We want your feedback. For those of you who haven't heard of Esben and the Witch, just because we give this a bad score, please go check it out. Anyways, I mean, if it's streamable online, you have no risk to you other than 40-50 minutes of your time to just check it out. I think that you'll at least be able to make an opinion and tell us what you think. We'd really appreciate it. So leave us a comment at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.